Time magazine just announced the 100 most influential people of 2025. Wait, why is Blake Lively there?
When you're there, it's very clear because you look around and it's like, all right, some people there have accomplished so much, like Simone Biles. She was there. She spoke. Yeah. She's impressive by anybody's measure. I mean, she's just totally incredible. She's been through a lot too. And, total respect. But then you had people like Blake Lively.
Oh, she's being heralded as we scroll down to her mention, she's being heralded as an titan, a titan. With Serena Williams, Ed Bastian, Lauren Michaels, Simone Biles, Doug McKillen, and Blake Lively.
Hollywood's golden boy is feeling the heat under the spotlight. What was intended to be another flattering feature highlighting his growing business empire quickly turned uncomfortable as Ryan Reynolds found himself cornered, compelled to confront the ongoing Justin Baldoni controversy that's been casting a shadow over his and Blake Lively's meticulously maintained public image for months. Time magazine just awarded Reynolds another prestigious honor, placing him on their 100 most influential companies list. But even this carefully managed PR moment couldn't shield him from the tough questions everyone's been asking. Has the Baldoni scandal taken a toll on his multi-million-dollar ventures? Is America's beloved celebrity couple finally being held accountable for their actions? If this recognition feels familiar, it's because it is. Just a few months ago, Time similarly and curiously named Blake Lively one of the 100 most influential people of 2025.
Blake Lively, who was there with her husband Ryan Reynolds. By the way, they were there. I think she was inducted the first year I was inducted too. We're on the same path with these people. And Blake Lively has been in some movies and some successful TV shows. But in no world is this person one of the most influential people in America. This is part of what you say is this.
A puzzling move that left many in the industry scratching their heads. Blake Lively received what some are calling a phony Time 100 honor. Allegedly because she made a donation to the NAACP back in 2019, according to a media analyst. So now, somehow, she's labeled one of the most influential people of 2025. Not even this year? That's a stretch. The pattern is crystal clear. As Blake and Ryan face intensifying public backlash over their ongoing legal battle with Justin Baldoni, Time magazine conveniently hands them high-profile features that serve as image rehab. First Blake, now Ryan, a strategic double hit of glowing press coverage arriving just as their public reputation starts to crack. But the real question is, who's orchestrating this conveniently timed PR push? Time magazine is owned by billionaire Mark Benioff, the CEO of Salesforce. While there's no direct evidence linking Benioff to Reynolds or Lively, the elite circles these major players operate in are tight-knit and highly connected. Benioff is frequently spotted at invitation-only weekend retreats, often co-hosted by none other than Ari Emanuel, the CEO of Endeavor and one of the most influential agents in Hollywood.
Yeah, one of the big titans of 2025. She really did so much to earn that title this year. So why did she get this title? Well, let's look at it, shall we? I don't know the Blake Lively of the red carpet or the Met Gala.
These ultra-private gatherings bring together CEOs, elites, and billionaires for behind-the-scenes networking, far from public view. There aren't many spaces for conversations like these. Benioff himself has admitted about these exclusive retreats. Connect the dots. A billionaire media mogul who regularly mingles with Hollywood's top agents suddenly shows a surprising interest in elevating both members of a celebrity couple at the exact moment their image is under fire. Coincidence? Industry insiders aren't buying it. What appears to be unfolding is a deliberately crafted PR campaign aimed at restoring the Reynolds Lively brand in the aftermath of the Baldoni scandal. Step 1. Name Blake Lively to Time's 100 most influential list in April 2025. Complete with a glowing character endorsement from a civil rights lawyer. Step 2. A few months later, spotlight Ryan Reynolds in Time's business leaders list, using the article to highlight his many ventures while quietly sidestepping the surrounding controversy. The goal? Shape the narrative around the Baldoni lawsuit using selective language and distraction tactics. According to one media strategist familiar with brand management, this is textbook image control. Agents, marketers, and publicists build a full-scale strategy for their talent, from press placement to narrative steering.
I knew if I went and I gave interviews on the red carpet, Mark, I was going to be honest in response to the questions, which, as you know, is a hard no for these things. Like, That's not the goal.
You're promised this and that when you agree to a time profile. But even in a friendly setting with soft, pre-screened questions, the interviewer eventually asked what everyone really wanted to know. Has the controversy involving Justin Baldoni hurt Ryan Reynolds' business ventures? Though the couple officially declined to comment, the article still points out the elephant in the room. I asked Reynolds whether the tabloids and online speculation have affected his bottom line. After all, he's the face of all these companies. Reynolds' first response was classic celebrity deflection. I can read something that says I should be drawn and quartered. I can read something that says I should win a Nobel Prize. Both are meaningless. The fact that Time, a publication clearly offering sympathetic coverage, felt obligated to bring up the issue says a lot about just how unavoidable the scandal has become. Even the article's author confessed, my relatives, who don't care about celebrity news at all, asked me about it when I mentioned I was interviewing Reynolds. Finally, a week later and likely after some off-the-record discussions, Reynolds provided a more focused statement. Accessibility and accountability are a big part of how I operate. The people I work with know who I am.
Don't be honest. You just, play it straight.
You're supposed to say I'm in love with the other 99 and I'm the least accomplished.
That's right.
And I was honored to be here.
Maybe I shouldn't go over to the people and give an interview. But then I was like, F it. So I did. And I was asked by the Daily Mail about Blake Lively. And here's how.
If you operate with genuine principles and integrity, people will support you. If you act like a jerk, they won't. That was Ryan Reynolds' message during his interview, but the irony of him preaching accountability while sidestepping the allegations involving both himself and Blake Lively didn't go unnoticed. Despite his insistence that the controversy hasn't impacted his business ventures, the data tells a different story. His social media engagement has reportedly taken a major hit, with many of his posts now having restricted comment sections. A red flag for someone whose brand heavily depends on viral reach and public interaction. Every post he makes now has to be private, noted one social media analyst. If that's not hurting his business, I don't know what is. The fallout appears to go even further. Reynolds has allegedly had to shift marketing strategies for several of his brands, with sponsored content now pulling in significantly less engagement than it did before the scandal broke. Most revealing of all, perhaps, is the eerie silence from potential defenders. My door is open to anyone from Ryan's team or Blake's, said one documentary filmmaker currently investigating the situation. Yet no one's reached out.
Who are you most looking forward to seeing tonight?
Well, I'm definitely hoping for some sort of a selfie in the distance with both Blake Lively and Meghan Markle, since they provided me with so many hours of content.
There's a lot of controversy right now with Blake being on the Time 100 list.
It's a ridiculous joke. She shouldn't be there. She has no influence over anything.
Not a single person has stepped up to defend Blake Lively or Ryan Reynolds, while support continues to pour in for Justin Baldoni. Time magazine's portrayal of the Baldoni lawsuit shows just how far the outlet went to shield Reynolds' reputation. The article claims a judge recently dismissed Baldoni's countersuit but fails to clarify that only certain portions were thrown out, with other parts still ongoing. This misleading framing implies a complete legal win for Lively that hasn't actually happened. In truth, the situation is much more complex. Baldoni's legal team is reportedly still evaluating their next steps, and Blake Lively has yet to produce any concrete evidence to support her accusations of harassment and retaliation. The article also conveniently ignores Reynolds' own involvement in the scandal, focusing only on Lively's claims and omitting his earlier public remarks about Baldoni, statements many viewed as a deliberate character attack. At the core of this unfolding PR disaster is what appears to be a blatant refusal to take responsibility. Insiders from the It Ends With Us production say the entire conflict began over a relatively minor disagreement that escalated after Lively allegedly refused to offer a simple apology.
I mean, what do you think of when you read headlines like every day about her and Justin?
I mean, I think she launched a fake Me Too allegation against him, and she's lived to regret doing it because virtually every allegation she has made has fallen apart.
Blake Lively reportedly couldn't bring herself to apologize or admit she had acted rudely toward director Kirstie Elmsley, and according to one insider, that's where the entire situation spiraled. They couldn't own up to it, so they flipped the narrative and claimed they were retaliated against. It's a story their PR consultants sold them, the source added. The controversy only intensified when Lively promoted her alcohol brand during a press tour for a film centered on domestic violence, an act many saw as glaringly tone-deaf. Your husband wasn't starring in a film about domestic abuse, you were. That's the issue, one critic pointed out, highlighting Lively's mismanagement of the optics. What makes the situation especially damaging for Ryan Reynolds is how it clashes with the wholesome, self-aware image he spent years cultivating. In his Time profile, Reynolds paints himself as a natural people-pleaser, shaped by childhood dynamics as the youngest of 4 boys raised by a strict police officer father. I'm a people-pleaser by nature, and so is my wife, he says. But those close to the It Ends With Us set paint a contrasting picture, claiming Reynolds took petty jabs at Justin Baldoni by mocking his personality traits in his portrayal of the villain in Deadpool and Wolverine. A move that contradicts the thoughtful, empathetic persona he promotes publicly.
And so for her to be honored for doing that, to try to ruin a man over absolutely nothing, is a scandal.
Yeah.
And obviously they're looking for big stars to come here and generate pages on their magazines, but that was very wrong.
Right. Are you going to be avoiding her inside because she's expected to be here with Ryan?
I have a feeling she's going to be avoiding me.
When people saw the film, many instantly said, "Oh, Ryan's clearly mocking Justin," revealed one crew member, questioning why Reynolds would stoop to such petty behavior that directly contradicts the thoughtful persona he projects. Despite being forced to acknowledge the growing controversy, Reynolds continues to rely on polished PR strategies to limit the fallout. The Time profile itself reads like a textbook example of celebrity image control, presenting him as a witty, self-deprecating everyman who just happens to be massively successful. Even his parenting advice is crafted to appear charmingly offbeat. He tells his kids, "Disappoint one person today before dropping them off at school." The article frames this as emotional intelligence, suggesting he's turned a personal flaw into a superpower. This tactic, using selective vulnerability as a deflection, has long been central to Reynolds's public brand. By acknowledging harmless shortcomings, he builds a sense of relatability, all while dodging meaningful accountability for more serious controversies. But public opinion is shifting. Thanks to social media, people now dissect celebrity narratives independently, examining evidence and forming conclusions without relying on traditional press outlets. They'll keep manipulating the public with carefully crafted PR soundbites, high-profile connections, and media allies, warns one industry insider. It's all meant to distract, so they can keep doing what they're doing without ever facing real consequences. However, this time the strategy might be faltering. When not disabled, comment sections on the couple's posts show rising skepticism. Reynolds' awkward response in the Time feature suggests the scandal has grown too big to ignore, even in the friendliest media spaces. Meanwhile, more crew members from It Ends With Us are reportedly speaking out, sharing what really happened on set, even at risk to their careers. Documentary filmmakers are said to be collecting these accounts for a larger exposé. "We're nowhere near done," one source involved in the project confirmed. This is just the beginning. Whether the Reynolds Lively PR engine can survive this level of scrutiny is still uncertain. But what's clear is that even Time magazine's favorable coverage couldn't fully protect Reynolds from facing the controversy that may permanently stain his reputation. In a world built on illusion, the real skill isn't acting. It's convincing people that the performance doesn't stop when the cameras do. And for Ryan Reynolds, maintaining that illusion is becoming harder by the day, even with Time offering the perfect spotlight.